Talk about honoring Marilyn and Joey Cabasso. You see, I met Joey. I got a call from somebody in the family about 20 years ago. Not the same Hollywood Joey. A little arrogant, messy, hair was not done. I remember walking into his house. He's looking at me, I'm looking at him. I'm sizing him up. I'm saying, I could take this guy down. He's high. He won't even know. He looks at me like, what are you doing in my house? I said, F you. I was invited. We started talking. We started to get to know each other. That was 20 years ago. Not only did Joe come into SAFE, his wife Marilyn come into SAFE. Not only did they come into SAFE, they became SAFE. The work that they do on behalf of SAFE today, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're calling me. On the way here today, Joey texts me, hey, listen, somebody got arrested, we need help. I said, Joey, could we wait an hour? We're getting ready to honor you. They're on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're helping people. They're running Al-Anon meetings, AA meetings. People are in their house every Friday, summer, 5 o'clock. People reaching out for help. Joey calls me, okay, we got this guy, what can we do? How can we help him? Marilyn, every day she calls me, I got this wife, what do you think? I said, geez, where do they come from? It's a 24-hour a day, 7-day-a-week job, and they're in, hook, line, and sinker. So, I know you didn't come to hear me. You've heard me before. I thank you. I'm humbled by this turnout. I'm humbled by carrying a torch for SAFE. I'm humbled by the board member, James, and the rest of the board members. I'm humbled to be part of something so great, a chesed mission. Chesed. That's what this is. It's chesed. I'm grateful to all of you. So without further ado, I'd like to ask Joey, Marilyn first, okay? Marilyn, the boss has spoken. Use that one, easier.
Thank you, Ike. Okay, wow. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here today to support the SAFE Foundation, which is something that is very close to my heart. Not everyone knows what goes on behind the scenes of the SAFE Foundation. I want to give you a little bit of what I do for SAFE because it is so special to me and very dear to my heart. I will take phone calls from women who have addiction in their family. I also run Al-Anon meetings every week in the SAFE building. I want to start by thanking my Aunt Cookie for hosting this very important event and for her generous nature, and to my Uncle Stanley, Alev HaShalom. I know he is truly here in spirit. I would always want to recognize his greatness even though he is not with us. I would like to thank my parents, Morris and Karen Chira, my dad is the one who stepped in that specific night that we'll never forget. My in-laws, sister-in-laws, and my sister Florence, who never judged the situation we were in and always supported us. Simone Dweck, wherever you are, my friend, I could not have done these Al-Anon meetings without your support. Also, of course, my husband Joey, who carves out time and effort out of his busy schedule, whose phone is open 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. He's devoted to saving lives and puts his heart into these boys to help them see that life can get better. Last but certainly not least, Ike. I would like to thank you as well for letting me help, putting your trust in me, and for being tough on me at times, but only to teach me. You giving me this opportunity to help and support these women is so important to me and this community. So here we go. So about 6 years ago, I became very involved in Al-Anon and SAFE. For those of you who don't know, Al-Anon is a support group and network of individuals who may be affected by the addiction of their loved ones. I started to form an Al-Anon group because Ike told me there is a tremendous need in our community. I realized that just because Joey got sober didn't mean our marriage was going to become rainbows overnight. There were years of damage that was done. Through Joey's addiction in the first 6 years, there was no marriage. Bringing up my children was a complete blur. We had to start over, communicating, making regular life decisions, and spending time with each other, all the normal things couples are supposed to do. I was confused on how to have a healthy relationship and how I was supposed to act as a married couple because I was robbed of the early years. I want to thank Hashem for giving us the opportunity to have a second chance and making it through the toughest time. Not every story has an ending like ours. I realized the benefits of Al-Anon by speaking and connecting with other women who have experienced similar situations to mine. I needed to let these women know that it takes work on their part too. I have worked with women who are married from 2 years to 25 years, 30 years. I have found such meaning in speaking with other wives struggling with how to live with their addicted husband. I identify with them. I will offer advice, a listening ear, and reassurance that they are not alone. I will wake up to text messages from the middle of the night of women texting me, "I'm scared, he doesn't want to get help, he won't go away. How am I going to get through my day? How am I going to get through my life? My kids, what will they say? What will they think? Are they going to be okay?" You might be wondering why I'm emphasizing on the idea of women getting help, when clearly your spouse or child is considered the one with the problem. When I receive a call from a woman, they automatically would tell me, "Well, he's the one with the problem. Why do I need to go for help?" However, addiction is a family disease. We did not cause the addiction as wives. We cannot control the addiction, and we cannot cure the addiction. Again, you could never control your spouse. The fear of being alone, the fear of getting divorced, are a few reasons why women are afraid to call SAFE and ask for help. The fear that my children will be impacted with difficulty of getting married, or they will find out about their parents' addiction. The fear that our social lives will change if they can't participate in events that involve drinking. How will we go to dinner without a drink? How will we go on vacations? How will we go to parties without a drink or a party drug? The fear of maybe I'm overreacting, maybe his use is not so bad, maybe I'm crazy, or he only takes something on vacations. He doesn't really do it, any other part of the day. Through all of this, I make women feel comfortable enough to open up to me about everything in which we build a trusting relationship. Even though sometimes there aren't happy endings, there are divorces through addiction. They call me up and say, "Marilyn, I'll be okay," because Al-Anon and SAFE gave me the strength, the wisdom, and the tools to make these big decisions. It helped me and my children get through this. In the end, my goal is to build strength in these women so that whatever decisions they need to make, they will always have the courage to do it, whether good or bad. Joining the SAFE support network helps me grow every day, and it can give anyone, married, single, or divorced, who is struggling, the tools to conquer life's obstacles. Thank you.
Just one last speech, and we're done, James, right? I want to first and foremost thank everyone for coming to the 20th year anniversary of the SAFE Foundation. I also want to thank some of the most important people who always important people always stuck by my side. I never gave up on me through the toughest times of my life. My parents, my in-laws, and my siblings. Without their support, I truly wouldn't be where I am today. There is one person in this room that saved my life. Without him, I wouldn't have achieved what I have to this day. Ike DeWeck. You are the one person who made the biggest impact on my life and changed it for the better. Thank you will never be enough. Finally, I couldn't do what I do and to help so many people without a team behind me. There are so many people in this room that I cannot name out loud, but you know who you are. All of you really helped me and our community by stepping up and helping anyone who is struggling. Last but not least, I want to thank everyone in our community, everybody here, for trusting my wife and I to do the work that we love to do, and that's helping people that are struggling in our community and making an impact. Here at the SAFE Foundation, we continue to remind the community that addiction shouldn't be a stigma. Addiction is no different than someone being sick with an illness. We are all good people, but we sometimes get caught up in the grips of addiction. At SAFE, we are here to help, and we see the good in every single person who walks in the door. I want to give you a little backstory on my life and what led me to the grips of addiction. When I was 13 years old, Purim came every year, and that is where we had a big party by my house with lots of drinking. Of course, my parents, like any others, didn't think much about it. The drinking continued into the next few years and escalated to fit in and be with the cool crew. At 17, I went to Israel for the year, and in my mind, I never wanted to do drugs. I was the ultimate never. To me, I wouldn't be that person. There I was on day one in Israel, being offered marijuana by the cool crew, which I felt like I couldn't say no, because if I said no, I wouldn't be part of. From there, marijuana took over just like drinking did. I was doing it every day, which led me to being kicked out of school and sent back home. Being from a religious and well-respected family within the community, I don't think my parents would think that their son would be kicked out of school for drugs. It just goes to show you that it does happen to some of the best people in the community, which I witness day in and day out. Once I came home from being kicked out of school, I started to associate myself with another group of friends that did pills. Again, I said I would never touch a pill, just like I said it with marijuana. But the peer pressure set in, and there I was hooked. If I stood here and told you all my stories where drugs took me, we would be here all day, and probably multiple days. There is one story that stands out most. One Shabbat night, I went out with a few friends to pick up marijuana from a dealer's house. Unfortunately, my religion that was always so important to me took a backseat to drugs. I didn't care about Shabbat. I cared about getting high, because that is what addiction does to a person. That night turned into a nightmare, where there was a raid on the dealer's house. There we were on a Friday night, caught in the middle of this, arrested and brought to central booking without my parents even knowing, and that was probably the worst night of my life. To make a very long story shorter, I sat there and I swore I would never touch a drug again. I was let out on Saturday night without any charges against me. I was just caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. Without fail, I went right back to what I swore hours prior I would never do again. I was sitting there in that dirty jail cell with murderers, heroin addicts, you name it. I was sitting there and I remember praying, please just get me out of here. I'll never do it again. The moment I was released, I went and got high that night. You would think that I would stop, but nothing stopped me. What I thought would scare me straight absolutely did not. I continued just a few days later on vacation with a boatload of drugs with the boys because I could not say no. But now it was more of an addiction, and nothing was stopping me. I was so stuck, it almost felt like there was no way out. It just couldn't stop. I was getting into trouble, blacking out, car accidents, ruining relationships, etc. You name it, I was doing it. At a time in which it seemed like it couldn't get worse, it did, and it escalated, and I found myself experimenting with all different drugs and getting hooked on all of them. During this horrible time in my life, where it was just partying and drugs, I met my wife, and oh boy, she had no idea what she was getting herself into with me. But what she saw was a popular, fun guy from a good family. She was young, as most girls in our community are when they start dating. It showed she had no idea, like most don't. She didn't know about my issues and my addictions. She thought it was a little bit of pot, a pill here and there at a party. After 2 years, we got married without her parents even noticing my drug use. I believe they saw what kind of family I was from and would never think that I would be using drugs. I was able to hide everything I was doing and not show this side of me. This happens within the community every day, and I see it constantly, and it becomes a disaster of a marriage. And I get multiple phone calls. Is this guy good? Is that guy good? I don't know why they call me, but they call me. And I get these calls all day. After getting married, we moved to the city, and my drug addiction just got worse. She started to realize this wasn't just something I did from time to time at a party. There was a problem. This wasn't the end of my story, but just the beginning. 20 years ago is where my story started with Safe. My addiction at the time was at an all-time high. That summer, I had my firstborn. If you ask me if I remember the birth of my son, I'd be lying to you if I said yes. This is how strong my addiction was. I gave up on one of the most important moments in my life to drugs. At that point, my family knew they had to come together and deal with my issues. The night before my son's bris is where my whole family was by my in-laws' house for that Zohar. At a time in my life where we were supposed to be celebrating my firstborn, but they were done with me. Sitting there threatening me to take away everything I have, including my son, my wife, and my career. Ike Dweck, at this point, was someone who came into my life for a reason. He came into my home the next morning and said, "Are you truly ready to change your life, or is this a waste of time?" I have that written, but he actually ripped me and killed me and said, I didn't even want to say the language, but I was scared. And I'm like, I gotta just say yes, because I was petrified. At that moment, I knew I was ready, but not sure if my mind was ready to give up. And the drugs and drinking fully. And one thing I want to add, when I was sitting there and my whole family went down on me, all I was thinking about was, oh my God, I can't do drugs with my friends anymore. That's how strong the peer pressure and the addiction gets you. I entered into Safe when it was a small room in the SBH building. I was probably one of the first people to enter into the program. I put the work in with the support of Safe, but a year and a half later, I felt like I needed to test the waters and have a drink. And that one drink led to drinking every night and then turned my life around and back to a full-blown addiction. I let my family, my wife, Ike, and Safe down. What I said I was ready to give up, looking back, that was just a play to get them off my back for the moment and possibly be able to do drugs and drink in moderation, which that never happens, and I've never seen an addict come in for help and try to go back and drink and do drugs in moderation. Never. That just doesn't work for someone with an addiction. and my life was back to where it was prior to entering SAFE. My wife saw it all happen again and called Ike back into my life. He was there without hesitation and again ripped me. At this point, I was sick mentally. I was sick and tired of being sick, but I was tired of letting everyone who means the most to me in my life. I was ready and willing to do whatever it takes with the SAFE to get my life back and put the past behind me. I want to ensure everyone in this room truly knows what SAFE is. SAFE is not just for the person with the addiction. SAFE is also for the family of an addict. And the people who are closest to them, my parents and my wife, came with me to SAFE and learned really what happened and why I did what I did in the past and how to deal with it. I stand here 16 years later telling my story. My story is why I'm here. SAFE was my lifeline. SAFE repaired my life and my relationships. SAFE gave me back a purpose. SAFE made me a better father to my 3 beautiful boys. SAFE made me move forward within our business and be successful. This isn't always the end to everyone's story that works with SAFE. The person needs to want to do all that SAFE has to offer and do it for themselves. I have seen many different outcomes, but that is because the person is not at the point where they need or want to change their own life. I have seen many marriages end in divorce. I have also attended many funerals of my best friends that died, that didn't want to help and lost the battle to the disease that not everyone wins. And I just want to add one thing. I promise you, I cannot count the amount of people in this community that have passed away from drug overdoses. You might not know it, the family might hide it because they are embarrassed, but I could count at least 50 people in the 20 years, and I am not making up a number, that have passed away from the age of 20 to 70 in this community and died because of a stupid pill, and it started only from drinking. It's a shame. I've seen and got many phone calls that you do not hear of kids overdosing in the community, 18, 19, and adults overdosing in the community. I am dealing with a case. The kid overdosed 3 times. He is 19 years old. You heard me, 19 years old. The last time he overdosed was in a shul on Ocean Parkway a couple of months ago. So I'm not making up these stories. This is a serious situation. You just don't hear about it, and people hide it. They hide it because they're embarrassed, but they don't understand that they could be saving their kid's life instead of protecting their name. I look at my life now and what it used to be. This gives me the drive and determination to help everyone. I look back and see that I wouldn't have become who I am today without getting better. I know Hashem gave me these prior experiences so that I can stand here today and help others. It goes without saying that this job never sleeps, and it isn't always the easiest. There are days where I get calls from parents in the middle of the night that their child needs help, and I step right in to intervene to get them what they need. Like Ike said, I was texting him this morning. I got a call at 7:30 a.m. from a mother crying, "Please help me. My son is 28. He's in jail in New York City. I have no idea why. The court officer called me. I need your help. Please." I get these calls constantly, daily. You just don't hear about it. It goes without saying, my phone is always ringing, and without hesitation, I will do whatever it takes. I think that anyone here that knows me, I put my own life and business on hold just to ensure I can help someone the way I was helped. There has been so many cases that have come to me that are truly unimaginable, things that would make your hair stand up. You wouldn't understand it. You wouldn't believe that it's happening in our community. I sometimes need to step in, not only to help the addict, but sometimes it is the parents, siblings, and the wife who need the strength in order to move forward. I make this job my #1 priority in my life because I know how precious life is, and it doesn't need to be taken away by an illness. I saw not only my own life being completely wrecked by illness, but my family's also. I want to ensure this isn't something that is going to continue within the community that means so much to me. Next to every man is a strong woman. My wife is there to show other women there are also life after addiction and how to manage through the hardest times. She, just like I am, is there to do whatever it takes to keep other women strong. There are some days she will sit on the phone with another wife for hours just because it might be a tough day. And I go, enough, enough. This person's calling you 6 times, but she still picks up the phone because she knows what it feels like, what she went through, and she only wants that person to get better and give her the strength. And God bless her. Me, I need to get people off the phone quick. Give me the information. Let me know, and she'll sit on the phone for hours. So God bless her. God bless her. She's got patience like a saint. She understands more than anyone because she lived it, and not everyone knows the feeling. As a board member of SAFE Foundation, which I never thought in a million years that would be me. I never thought I would be honored. I never thought I would get the respect. I was a nobody. I was a drug addict. I was a loser. It goes to show you, people could get better with the help of SAFE. Our community is one that needs someone 100%, and that is what me and my wife are there for. Beyond the meetings, we open our home ensuring that it is a welcoming and comfortable environment for those seeking help. We host meetings twice a week, and the countless hours that go into just one meeting couldn't be possible without my wife. She really, I have to say, who opens up their home on a Saturday during the winter, without fail, gets the food, sets up, and allows 20 to 30 addicts in her house so we could have a meeting. Or Friday, buys the mazza, sets it up by the pool, and welcomes 30 to 40 guys. And that's not just a fake number. We have 30 to 40 people, all different types of people, every week different rotation of people looking to get help. Learning from our own personal experience takes more than just leaving the toxic environment for 30 days. It takes support and guidance well after that time. SAFE is there with us, ensuring the addict continues on to recovery. Harry, I'm almost done. SAFE also just doesn't stop with someone who is already battling addiction. SAFE is there in every single one of our community schools, teaching our children from 5th to 12th grade about the effects of drugs and how to battle the peer pressure. I'm seeing children as young as 8th grade starting to use marijuana, which then is leading to the 12th graders using hallucinogens. And that's mushrooms, all sorts of drugs, what I see all day and hear. I myself speak in every community school to tell my story so kids can see how much drugs can affect their lives. I sometimes find myself telling my story and kids coming to me or calling me after and saying they didn't know that something like that could happen or that they have a problem already. This shows me now more than ever how much we need SAFE. As much as SAFE educates our kids, we need the support. Parents pushing as a positive force behind them not to go down their road. There are parents that are smoking pot and drinking, and I get the call of, my kid's smoking pot. I said, what do you want from me? You're smoking pot and you're telling them they shouldn't smoke pot and the kids know it. And there's thousands, I mean thousands, of parents in the community that are doing it. I'm sorry that I have to say this, but there's thousands and they expect their kid to be good. Parents should not even take the use of marijuana lightly and be naive. and turn a blind eye to it because an occasional use of marijuana could lead to my story. What I see in this community today is only becoming worse. It's scary to say what it could be like in 5 years without the SAFE Foundation. We have many challenges as a community. It is important to celebrate the lives we save. I have attended many weddings of people, the birth of children, and the success in business. All who have overcome their addiction. This is why we do what we do and why SAFE is so important. It is the moment like these that remind us of the importance of our support and the impact we can have on addicts, families, and our community. Today, as we celebrate the 20th anniversary of the SAFE Foundation, I know that my Uncle Stanley Chira, Alav HaShalom, though no longer with us, is in spirits, is joining us in spirits. And I am grateful to my Aunt Cookie for hosting this annual event. Please give her a round of applause. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here today in support of such an important cause. My wife and I, along with the SAFE team, promise to provide this community with continued support. In order to continue the work for our community, we ask that we come together and ensure we can keep our community safe and supported. Thank you.